Welcome to the UK OCR Community Podcast, presented by Obstacle Racing Media. Each episode, we'll be talking to race directors, elite runners, weekend warriors, and frankly, anyone else from the UK OCR scene that will talk to us. Here is your host, Alan, aka Muddy Duck.
Anywhere in Chicken Town. The bloody scene is bloody sad. The bloody news is bloody bad.
This episode is brought to you in conjunction with our partners, Immerse Recovery. They're the home of recovery for everyday and world-class athletes, offering a range of products like ice baths to help you recover, ready for your next workout. And hey, I get it, you might already have an ice bath. But still, check out their website. There's plenty there that might just help you. Like a floating thermometer to ensure the bath is extra cold. Or if you're up for an upgrade, their peak performance tub actually lets you lie down. Me, I'm a fan of their microfiber towel hoodie, perfect for stepping out of the bath into something warm. So, head over to immerserecovery.co.uk and use code UKHXR15 for 15% off the entire range. Again, that code is UKHXR15. Immerse Recovery. We go again. And now, back to the show.
Libbie Joyce, welcome back.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
First of all, I know that you go all around the world. So are you back as in back in the UK, or are you back as in back in another country or somewhere else?
No, I'm in the UK.
Oh, this is a shock. Shock, gasp, horror. You get more holidays than the king, I'm sure you do. You're never here.
Oh, it does feel like that, to be fair. It does feel like I'm travelling quite a fair bit, but I do love it. It is so much fun.
I think if you and Becky Neal got air miles, you'd by far, Richard Branson would have nothing on you two. Richard Branson would have nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're always everywhere, both of you. You're just making me so jealous. Before we talk about what we're talking about today, first of all, there's nothing you're jealous with. Your mum sent me a picture today of some VJ Ultras, some new VJ Ultras.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about them.
They look absolutely amazing. So, obviously, I was at the running show. So, as for the weekend just gone, and they had brought them with them, just so they had shipped them out just to bring them to the running show. So they come out on sale for about the 1st of March, I think it is. But I got to try a pair on, and they are the comfiest shoes. Wow. They are so comfy, and they are really good to run in as well, because where they're placed, it helps your feet rock a little bit.
Okay.
And yeah, they've got that cushion in them as well, which are perfect for long distance running. So they are.
It looks
good.
like they've got quite a high stack.
Yeah, they have got quite a high stack.
Deep midsole. Yeah, cool. What about width on them? Because the VJ Ultras that I had, I liked them. I thought they're absolutely great. But whenever I went over marathon distance, as my feet swell, I mean, I've got bigger feet than you, much bigger feet than you.
Yeah.
My feet swell, and they always they gripped a little bit too much at the front of the foot for me. So, I'm using some Innovates at the moment for my ultra running, and they seem to have a little bit more room in the front toe box. What are these like? Are they bigger? Are they smaller? The same?
Oh, no, they're bigger. They're bigger width.
Right.
They have got that bigger width at the toe. So they've started doing them now where they do, obviously, some of them that are shorter width. These ones have got a good width to them, where you are able to spread your toes out and for your feet to swell as well.
Okay, let's save some money. Right, let's talk about Mettle Games. So we spoke about this. You brought this to my attention a couple of weeks ago. Didn't know a lot about it, so we put on the notes for Swift Half. Me and Ian's talked about it and everything else. But you managed to get an invite. First of all, how did you manage to get an invite? Tell me more.
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I think mainly because the race, so Mohammed, the race owner, the one who set up the course, he is very good at he does all the Spartans. So he travels doing the Spartans because where in Qatar they don't actually have any obstacle race. That was one of I think the first obstacle race that they've had. So he travels around doing it. I think he noticed me in one of the Spartan pictures, and I think that was it. But I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But he was like, I'm doing this race. I'd love you to come. I'd hope to get you out there and get you going and get you in with the elites. And I was like, I think it was like a week before the actual race. So I was like, Mum was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go do it. So we went out there, and I think it was one of the best races I've ever done. Not because of the race, but also being around the elite, and the event village was amazing. It was so much fun.
I mean, only 11 women got invited to the elite race. You know, I mean, that tells you something. You know, there were both yourself and Emma Watson were the two British athletes that got invited. I mean, well done on that. First of all,
Thank you.
You know, what about the trip over there? Because talking about Qatar now, I've met the Sheikh of Qatar, by the way. I've met the King of Qatar. You know, I think a lot of people know that. He came to my race once. So maybe it's me who's got him into obstacle course racing. So we got Mohammed to put this on. Maybe it's all down to me. Maybe I should have gone global. It's a different story. First of all, getting out there, that's a long flight, isn't it?
To be fair, it wasn't too bad. So we had a 7-hour flight. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We had a 7-hour flight to Doha, and then from Doha we went to Qatar. 7 hours to Doha, and then from Doha it was an hour to Qatar.
Okay.
So it wasn't a too bad flight, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably won't be doing a connecting flight again, because we didn't realise how big Doha Airport is, and we only had an hour to our next flight, and our flight before had been delayed by a little bit. So me and my mum looked like absolute lunatics running through Doha Airport, because we had no clue where we were going. And we only had, I think it was like 40 minutes to get from one side of the airport all the way to the other side of the airport, down some escalators, past like kids slides, a giant teddy bear. The airport had everything in it, and it was absolute chaos trying to get to one flight to another.
So I guess that's more like an obstacle course, getting through the airport before you even got to the obstacle course.
No, yes. I went because we had to get a bus then to the plane, and I was like, Mum, I should have put my watch on run.
Yeah.
Because we were just running through this airport. I was like, we've bound to hit a good mile there with how quick we were. Mum was like, but the thing was, I was running so fast that my mum got told off for running because they didn't see me run past.
So you run past, your mum follows, and then tell your mum off for running. I like that. That's a cracker.
Yeah, and it was good, to be fair. And then the flight to Doha from Qatar was really quiet as well, because we had like a night flight, because we got to Qatar around about 2:00 in the morning.
Wow. So was that 2:00 Thursday morning or 2:00 Friday morning?
Thursday morning.
Oh, right. Okay. So the race is on a Friday, so you had a little bit of time to recover, you know?
Yeah.
What was the jet lag like, you know, when you got up Friday morning? Do you have jet lag?
To be fair, I didn't have too much, but I think because on Thursday I got up what time did I get up? I think I got up around about like 8:00, 7:00, 8:00. Went down for breakfast, and then I went out for a run with some of the other elites that were there, and went for a little run. And then we just kind of chilled for the rest of the day. And then we all got, I think this was one of like the best bits as well. We all got invited to Mohammed's house for dinner, well, for lunch. And the food was amazing. Like that, they did full traditional food for us, and it was just lovely. We all had this really long table to sit on. We got to meet Mohammed's parents, his wife's parents, their whole family, because their whole family lived together. But it was just really nice to be able to try their traditional food as well, that all the ladies and all of the women made in the house. It was really, really nice.
Wow, that's amazing. Was all the men there as well? Was all the elite men with you as well, or was it just the women who were in?
Yeah, everyone was there. Yeah, I think actually all the elites were there. I think mostly all the elites were there.
Wow. I mean, you're getting a little bit of a dab hand at this. I mean, you're all over, so meeting people like Nicole and Ryan and them, like, it's just like second nature for you, no longer are you starstruck. I'm going to assume that, like, there were a few people there that had not sort of been to these type of events. Were there a few people there that were a bit starstruck?
To be fair, I think we all kind of got along quite quickly.
Right.
And I think for the people that I haven't really met before, like VJ and all of them, we kind of just everyone just got along quite quickly, and it was really, really nice.
Cool. What time was the race? Because I'm going to assume that in Qatar it's going to be very, very hot. So they won't want you racing in the daytime. Did you race late evening Friday or early morning Friday? What was
No, so we actually raced at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
But it was actually freezing cold.
Whoa, hang on a minute here. We're in a desert. How can in the desert be freezing cold 8 in the morning?
It was so windy that it was like we were standing. I think we all had our like windproofs on as well, and like jumpers, and we're all like warming up in them. And then you could just see us all on the start line trying to like keep warm because of how windy it was. It made it quite cold because there's nothing really to block the wind. So It was, and I think the wind even blew down the start line at one point.
Oh, wow.
Because they had the inflatable start line and it was so windy, but it was like, I got there, I was like, I thought it was supposed to be warm.
Well, I would have even taken a windproof jacket. I'd have just taken shorts and t-shirts. I'd have been freezing. But what was it? So you started off early. Did the men go off first, followed by you guys?
Yeah, so the men went off, I think it was 15 minutes before, was it 15 to 20 minutes before the women did. Because then we had all of the men were watching the women come through, which was quite nice as well.
Cool. And then obviously you ladies set off and that. Tell me about the course then, because it looked very Spartanish to me, as in Spartan races. And I'm going to assume you said Mohammed goes to all the Spartans everywhere. Was there a bit of a Spartan feel to it?
Yeah, there was a Spartan feel. There was different obstacles as well. Like one of to be fair, he did it in kind of sections.
Okay.
So you had the 4 kind of sections. You had start off with you had sprint, and then you had strength, then technical, then endurance. So you kind of had all of the sections together, and you could kind of tell as well because all of the start obstacles were like your walls, your Z walls, and then you were running to your strength where you had all of the carries were back to back after each. You had the running in between, but all the carries were together. And then you had, I think it was like, how many meters? I want to say about 400 meters of monkey bars, twister, beta. You had all of them in a row, and you could see all of them as well. Wow. And then you had your last little running bit where you had rope climb, a version of Spartan 2 Stairway to Sparta, then another carry, and you had your last little run to the final multi-rig to the finish. So I really, really liked how they did it because you could see each of the elite's elements play in, but also because it kind of mixed up the field a little bit.
Okay.
Because like with the men, you were watching and they were all going off at it. You could see Leon was first with Alec. So them two were first in the speed section. And then you hit the strength section, and that's when Ryan and Thomas took over. And then it kind of just like stayed between them two. But overall, I think it was such a good layout course. I think if it wasn't been as windy, the course, you would be able to see the course taping a little bit more. But I think the wind kind of came as a shock to everyone who was like Mohammed and all of that, because I don't think they really get too much wind like they had. But But other than that, the obstacles were set up amazing, built amazing. The course was laid out really, really well. You could see where you had to go. There wasn't really though you couldn't really get lost too much. So I think as overall, the course was amazing. The obstacles were amazing.
Fantastic. Do you think that type of design, I like that. You said we've got 4 different sections, 4 clear-cut sections. It makes for something a little bit different than maybe do a bit of strength, then a bit of speed, and then something like that, which is a Spartan. If they did that, maybe that could be the way forward. We talk about getting the traditional standard OCR to the Olympics, putting it like that. So you put the 4 sections and similar obstacles in every section. That could be the way forward to almost standardizing OCR to get to the Olympics.
Yeah, I think so, because I think I liked how it was, because they had the technical section straight after the strength. So your arms were heavy and tired. And I think it you had to have all trust in your grip. But the weights as well, they were a good challenge weights. And I think he had one obstacle, which was kind of like a box, and it was like bar box, but you had 4 sections were all kind of like wooded, like cut off, so you couldn't reach through them, and then the sides were all see-through, so you had to like put your arms inside the side and flip it 4 times one way, 4 times the other.
Oh wow.
And I really like the obstacle, because when you flipped it once, you then had to go again, and you had to kind of keep the momentum of it. I think the only downfall for me with the weights was how heavy they were, because I was doing quite well until I got to the first weight section, and then that's kind of just when it slowed me straight down and I weren't able to move it too much.
Okay.
But I think because now I know that I'm working on my strength a little bit more, and I think as an overall, it was such a good course, and I think if other courses do turn out like that, it will be good.
I like the whole idea. Was there different weights for men and women, or was it all the same weights? So different weights still?
Yeah, different weights for men and women. So I think it was different weights to us from a normal Spartan. I think the women's weights were heavier than what you get at Spartan, and the men's weights were heavier than you get at Spartan.
Okay, that's that's. I mean, we're talking about the elite level here, aren't we? I mean, you're only. I'm gonna get this right now. You're still only 17.
Yeah.
See, I've been here for that long. I have to make sure that I'm thinking. I'm sure you haven't hit your 18th birthday yet. So you're still only 17. I mean, the people that were running, you were running against. I mean, they were older than you. They're fully matured. They're adults in the terms of they've not stopped growing. They've not stopped developing. You're still developing. I mean, you're 3-4 years away from the start of your peak. And you're already right up there with these people. I mean, when I look at the results, and we'll just quickly touch on the results and that. I mean, you finished in 5th place. I mean, Elisa Petrova and Nicole Miracle, there's 1 point difference in the chip timing, 1 second difference. But behind Nicole, over 10 kilometers, you're 12 minutes, Libbie. 12 minutes over 10. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And I wouldn't even get within an hour of her. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is like, it's amazing. I mean, when you look at it, the 3rd place, Angelique, she was like 9 minutes behind Nicole and Elisa. Eva Vanny, she was like 10 minutes behind, and then you're just coming back a couple of minutes just after it. With them weights that you just mentioned there, if they'd have been taken out, you would have been right in the mix, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so, because I felt really, really good on my running, and I think I was currently sitting in 3rd until I got to the weights.
Okay.
Because I managed to get over the walls quickly. My running felt so good as well. Even after the weights, my running felt really, really good. And I was sitting a little bit further behind after the weights. So having that running section for me got me that bit more time, I think. Caught me up a little bit more.
Yeah. So how did your race go? So let's talk from start to finish. You set off. Was you with them all the way?
So I was start off with I was just behind Nicole and Alyssa. And then they kind of like took off a little bit, and I felt good at the pace I was going at, so I carried on going at that pace until I got to the walls. I had a little problem at the last, so we had 4 walls and they got bigger each time. I did misjudge the last wall because when I got to the first wall, I was seeing Alyssa and Nicole go over the last one. Yeah. And they looked like they went over it so smoothly over the top. So I was like, okay, there must be a step because of how tall it was. And I got over it, but they were quite close together. They weren't like couldn't really have like too much of a run up, which I thought was really, really good because it gives you that extra little bit of challenge. And I got there and I jumped down. I'm like, there's not a step. So I ran off it to start off with, got my fingers on the top, and then I slipped off it. So I was like, okay, I can reach it. So then I ran up again, got over the top, and Angie and Eva managed to get over before me. So then I got over and then picked up my pace again. And then I think it was Z Walls next. No, yeah, Z Walls next. And we all finished Z Walls roughly at like the same amount of time. So I managed to pick up a bit more speed on that obstacle. And then we're all running quite similar paces, and then we got to inverted wall and I was just behind them too, and I was like, okay, I can get up this inverted wall really, really quickly. So I got over it really quickly and I dropped down. I'm like, okay, I'm now sitting in third, and then I watched the video back and I'm like, I actually got up that inverted wall quite quickly. So then I was sitting in third all the way to the first weight, and I managed to catch up a bit of speed where Nicole and Alyssa were just finishing that weight section. So as I started it, did a couple of pulls, they were just finishing it.
Okay.
So I was caught up a bit, and then that's when I got hit by the weights, because the weight, like, I didn't realise how heavy it was going to be until I started pulling it back up the hill, because it was kind of like a down, then a gradual up, and then you had to turn around and then go back and then back up the steep bit.
Right.
So that was when I kind of slowed down a little bit, and then Angie and Eva overtook me again. And then we had, what was it? Sandbags? Yeah, sandbags. Like farmer's carry. Sorry, it was farmer's carry. 2 farmer's carry. And it was such a long loop. Like, I think it was bigger than a normal Spartan kind of sandbag loop you would get.
Oh, wow.
It was a good loop. And then we carried on running. I did a couple of more, and then I think we had sled push, sled push, armor, and then a sandbag carry. Then we had a bit more of a run. Then we had a good running section to Atlas carry, and then the box flip. So we had the metal box. And then after that, we kind of got into the technical section where we had all the twister, beater, monkey bars, all of them. Then we had another little good running section where we had for quite a fair bit, where then we came to rope climb and like a form of stairway to Sparta. And then we had a bit more running till we had another carry. Can't quite remember the carry now. What carry was it? It was a metal carry. I can't remember what kind of metal carry it was now.
Isn't that the crucifix one? Did you have
yes, that was it.
Crucifix style one.
Yeah, that was it. And then to the finish line where we had the multi-rig and cross the finish line.
Nice one. Awesome. So it sounds like a great event.
Yeah.
I was having a look on the website, and they haven't got one up for you next year. Do you know when it's going to be next year? No.
I want to say same time, but I'm not too sure.
Will you be getting an invite?
Hopefully, I hope I do. I would really like to do it again because it was such a good event. Even after the event village as well was so good.
Fantastic. Did they have prize money? I was going to ask you earlier, and I forgot to ask you. Did they have prize money?
Yeah, they had prize money for both the 10K and the team race.
So my question is, how much did you get? Or are you not going to tell me?
I didn't get any. It was first, second, and third.
Oh no! See, that's now they've got to like improve on that next year, aren't they? Because now they need to give prize money to top 5. That's the aim. Cool. Last one, because I'm a shoe geek. It was in sand. There's a bit in sand in that.
Yes.
Well, let me guess. You ran in Sparks.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it. I'm the right shoe geek, aren't I?
my go-to shoe.
I guess you was in Sparks.
Yeah, I was debating either going Sparks and putting gaiters on, or just running in my Sparks.
Okay.
And I ended up just running in my Sparks because I didn't really need my gaiters because the sand was quite compact. So you weren't really running. There weren't really like loads of sand dunes where you're running up and getting loads in your shoe.
So not like Abu Dhabi and that, where you're running up the sand dune, really soft sand. This was more compact and.
Yeah, it was more a kind of compact sand. But yeah, it was really, really good.
Fantastic. And I know we've got a podcast coming out soon, with the pint size OCR, so watch this space. But what's next up for you race-wise? Where are we next? Because you've been doing a bit of fell running as well, haven't you? I've seen this bit of fell running that you're doing. You're coming into my territory now and running up the hills and things like that, which is, great because you're only going to get better at running, when it comes to it, because that's, building up your muscles and your legs and things like that. So what's next for you? Where are we going to see you next?
So I've got so I'm currently doing a fell series, and my next one will be the next race of the fell series because I was supposed to do a fell race, but I went to I went to Kuwait instead.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing this one, which is next weekend as we're filming this.
Oh, nice one. Where's that at?
Is it one of the big ones? I'm not too sure now. I'm trying to think.
Is it the Kong series you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't remember how. I think I've got 2 left. So this one and then the last big one.
And you're doing quite well in them, aren't you? I mean, I have seen that, you're getting right up there. You're getting podiums for females and that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's definitely grown my confidence as well coming down the downhills, because that's one thing I've always been quite hesitant with, is running down the downhills without being cautious. And so now I'm kind of just feel like, okay, I've just got to go down it as quick as I can. If I fall, I fall.
If you fall, you fall. Don't worry about it. I think the good thing about what I like running fell races, if you do fall, you're only really falling onto like grass and things like that. It's not very often that you're actually running down the hills and falling into rocks and things like that. So I think the next series, race 4, I'm just going to look, 1st of February, the Stile End Outer Side in Barrow. So that's a CA. So that's up in the Lake District, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure that's up in the Lake District. So what does it say? Well, the 3rd race now starts from a run up the cattle grid at the bottom of Braithwell Lodge track and past the lodge and onto the fells at the bottom of Barrow. And it's a 5-mile race. Oh, so it's not a long one, just a 5-mile race.
No. I think the furthest. So you had the first one, which was 4 miles, and then the rest of them are all 5.
Wow, cool. So 5 miles, 1,640 feet of elevation, which is quite a lot. And then on 15th of February, Treckledale Village Hall, again 5 miles with 2,500 feet of elevation. Wow. It says on this one, fast running, traversing the flanks of Blethcarra through fields. So, bit of traversing. That's where you're going to need a good grip on there.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, good luck, Libbie.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see you at some point. Are you coming down to Nuts?
Yep, I'll be, but I'm only doing 1 lap of Nuts this year.
Okay.
Because of all of the other Spark races coming up this year that I'm focusing on. And yeah, I kind of want to see if I can get my speed, see what my running's like over the 7K and see if I can get a quicker distance than I've done before.
Fantastic. And good luck for the coming season. I know you've got much planned.
Thank you.
And I know you're embargoed before you tell people. So we're going to keep that burning, and you can keep that for a pint-sized podcast where you can tell everyone what's coming.
Yep.
Cheers, Libbie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun.
Thank you for listening to the UKOCR podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast today. If you like what we do, please think about joining our Patreon. It only costs £2 a month and it goes to help supporting us to put these podcasts on. Or, if you fancy a one-off payment, just buy us a beer. The links to both are in the description. In the meantime, you stay safe and you keep on running, everyone, and I'm sure we'll see you on the course soon. Take care. Bye.
Try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason.